Larry McReynolds has been in NASCAR since the 1970s. He's seen a lot of change in the sport, especially when it comes to safety. Like everyone else, he watched this weekend's race at Nashville and was shocked to see Ryan Blaney violently crash head-on into the inside wall that was concrete and unbelievably without a safer barrier. Less than 24 hours after the incident, America's crew chief appeared on Fox's NASCAR Race Hub and was not happy. He blasted NASCAR for allowing it to happen and said it was inexcusable. A day later, on his SiriusXM NASCAR Radio show, McReynolds revisited his outburst from the night before and even expressed surprise that he hadn't heard from the sanctioning body for his heated remarks. In Sunday's race at Nashville, just before the halfway point on lap 147, Ryan Blaney lined up for a restart, the ninth car on the inside lane with Daniel Suarez in front of him and Kyle Busch directly behind him. On that restart, the number 6 of Brad Keselowski, which restarted in the second row on the outside lane, had an issue coming through the restart zone and dramatically slowed. William Byron, who was behind him, ran into the rear of the RFK car, which sent it into a middle lane and basically parted the sea, with cars going to the inside and outside to avoid contact. Unfortunately, since it was all happening in the front, it had a chain reaction through the rest of the field as cars tried to check up. Blaney was one of the cars trying to slow down. Kyle Busch didn't slow down in time and got into the rear of the Penske car, which went sliding sideways into the infield grass before suddenly gaining traction on the pit road surface and shooting hard left into the inside wall, a concrete wall that was without a safer barrier. Moments after the violent impact, the driver said he needed help over the team radio. Fortunately, after a few tense moments, the driver let the window net down, indicating he was okay. He gingerly exited the car a few minutes later for a trip to the infield care center. Following the checkup, he visited with reporters and expressed his understandable frustration with the situation.
I don't know. I'm sure they'll put one on it after this, it sucks that things like that have to happen when someone hit a wall head on like that, and then you're like, oh, we'll put a safe barrier on it now. It's like, why are you not doing the whole track? I'll pay for thing to get put on there. It's 30 feet. Like, I don't know.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. Just got pissed.
Blaney asked the question everyone else was wondering. Why? Why was there no safer barrier on that particular wall? Adding another disturbing layer of intrigue, according to several reports, Speedway Motorsports, which manages the track, installed 1,500 feet of additional safer barrier along the backstretch at Nashville to fulfill NASCAR's recommendation just a couple of weeks earlier. Apparently, no one at NASCAR or SMI thought that wall was worthy of adding the protective barrier. After the race, NASCAR released a statement on the incident. NASCAR safety engineers work closely with safety experts on the implementation of barriers around the track. As we do following every race weekend, we will evaluate all available data and make any necessary improvements. On Monday's NASCAR Race Hub, Blaney's accident was unsurprisingly a hot topic of conversation, and America's crew chief got hot under the collar when talking about it and didn't mince words on what he thought about NASCAR for allowing it to happen.
They have truly made it a big event. But when I saw him hit that wall and I went, oh my gosh, there's no safer barrier there. We are over 22 years into safer barrier knowledge. We know what we need. I don't need an expert to look at it. I don't need them to evaluate it. I don't need to read a press release to say we're looking into it. Put safer barriers in. We know there's challenges at road courses. We're not going to have safer barriers on every wall at Chicago this week. We know we don't run them at the Bristol Dirt Race. But we should not here in 2023 be at any oval, Martinsville to Talladega, without safer barriers on every single wall inside and out. I am a big believer in that.
Safety
first.
It's unexcusable. No doubt, safety first, and we're just glad that Ryan Blaney is okay.
McReynolds is absolutely right. It is inexcusable. This should have never happened. And going forward, there should be no cost spared when it comes to putting safer barrier or some other type of protection including barrels filled with sand or water on all the walls at every track NASCAR visits. Interestingly, a day later, during his morning show on SiriusXM, McReynolds was still fired up when addressing the topic and candidly admitted how he was surprised he hadn't heard from anyone with the sanctioning body following his sharp remarks from the night before.
There should not be an unprotected wall nowhere inside or out. And if the design needs to be changed, change the design. You just got to do it. You've just got to do it. And if it needs to be 100 feet, redesign it. My gosh, the stuff we do today, and we do it overnight, they're just, this is a wake-up call. And again, I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm surprised after Race Hub last night I didn't get a phone call, an email, or whatever, because I climbed. Adam and David Reagan backed away from me a little bit because I had arms swinging and everything else.
The reason no one from NASCAR called is because they knew McReynolds was right. They messed up on this one. Thankfully, Blaney didn't get seriously hurt and walked away. Hopefully, and most importantly, this will be the last time this topic is discussed because it will be addressed on all tracks and there will be no more incidents like this happening in the future.